So this next unit that we're getting into is on factoring polynomials. This involves some number sense, but we are going to use the calculator. Again, I want your Chromebooks put away while I'm directly going over this, but you'd be allowed a calculator, obviously, on a quiz or test. What we're going to do right now, and for the next class before spring break, before we get into putting like X's and Y's into these, we're going to just do this with regular numbers and just get good at that before I bring the variables in. Does this make sense? Like crawl before you can walk, okay? So this is called an X box, like or sometimes it's called diamond math, whatever you want to call it. What we're going to do is find numbers that make the top number the product. And what does product mean we're doing? So you want to find two numbers that multiply together to equal the top number. And then what does sum mean? That they add to equal the bottom number. So I'm going to say that again. You want these two numbers to multiply to equal the top number and add to equal the bottom number. Now I'm going to go through how you figure out your positives and negatives, and we're going to do these one at a time. So there's a couple different ways it can turn out. Draw yourself an X. If the top number is positive and the bottom number is also positive, then what do you think are going to be the symbols for your two numbers? They're both going to be positive. If you multiply two positive numbers, you get a positive value, right? Positive times positive would equal positive. And if you add two positive numbers, you'll get a positive. Does this make sense? If everything's positive, it's just positive and you're good. So we're going to do all those ones first. So down here, look at number one. Do you see how they're both positive? You need to find two numbers that multiply together to equal 54, but add to equal 15. Now, some people have a calculator in their head and can sort of just think about it. And if you do, that's cool. I'm going to show you. See, you guys are figuring it out anyway, but can I show you the calculator trick? Because if the numbers get really big or it's messy or you just can't think of it that day or whatever, let me show you how this works. Actually, I need to hit share screen or it won't show up on the recording, so hold on. So what you're going to do is the same thing when we did the square roots. You're going to take the top number, divide by X. And then how did we make the table of values? Gear, table. Now, you are going to just keep hitting enter. They can't be decimals. So if you see one that's a decimal, just skip right past it. And we're looking for two numbers that add up to be 15. That was the bottom number. You follow me here? So I'm going to keep hitting enter. Is 2 plus 27 equal 15? No. Okay, so I'm going to hit enter. 18 plus 3, is that 15? No. That one's a decimal. That one's a decimal. Is 6 plus 9 equal 15? Yeah. That's it. Those are your numbers, 6 and 9. And a lot of you said that before I even got there, but I just wanted to show you it on the calculator. So let's do another one where they're all positive. So look at number 2. I'm going to share the screen again. There's going to be a lot of that during this vlog. So I'm going to put, 42 over X, make the table, and I'm looking for two numbers that add up to be 13. So is 3 plus 14 equal 13? No. That one's a decimal. That one's a decimal. 6 plus 7, is that 13? Those are your two numbers, 6 and 7. Do you see another one on here where everything's positive? Look through. Do you see? Because I think there's a couple more. So 13, 14, 16, 18. Okay, let's go do those ones. This one's kind of small. Can I maybe get you to do this one without me pulling up the calculator? You want two numbers that multiply to be 12, but add to be 8. It would be 6 and 2. And it does not matter which side you write them on. Like if you put the 6 here and the 2 here, that's totally valid. All right, let's try 14. I'm going to type in the calculator. Some of you are saying it already. That's so cool. I wasn't sure how this was going to go, but some of you just have like a calculator in your head. All right, so I'm going to type 40 divided by X, make the table, and I'm looking for numbers that add up to be 14. Yeah. So 4 and 10. And it doesn't matter which side you write them on. All right, what was the next one? What are we looking at? Number 16. So I'm going to type in 66 divided by X. And yes, you're correct. It is going to be 6 and 11. 6 plus 11 will give you 17. That's so cool. You guys have really good number sense. All right, and then number 18. Now, you might not know all the numbers that go into 84. That's why being able to type it in the calculator is important as well. So let me come in here and type 84 divided by X. Now, what are we looking for them to add up to? 19. That's a decimal. There we go, 7 and 12. Good job. Or if you put 12 here and 7 here, that was awesome. Okay, now we're gonna start inserting negatives into the things. So let's go back up here. Draw yourself another X. I just want to show you the different ways they can turn out. So if you have a positive number on the top, bless you, and a negative number on the bottom, both of your values are going to be negative. Here's why. A negative times a negative will be a positive because they cancel. But if you add two negative numbers, you get a negative result. Okay, so let's find all the ones like that. You want a positive number on the top and a negative number on the bottom. Do you see one? All right, let's do 3. Now these are small enough. I would maybe coach you to do this one without a calculator. You want them to multiply to be 6, but they have to add up to be -7. So you want them -6 and -1. If you multiply those, you get +6 because the negatives cancel, but they add up to be -7. Do you see another one where it's a positive on the top and a negative on the bottom? Positive on the top, negative on the bottom. There might not be. No, there's not another one like that. Okay, but there's a whole back page of these problems that we're going to practice, so don't worry about it. Now I'm going to do the last two together. If you have a negative number on the top, that means you're going to have one of each. So one's going to be positive and one's going to be negative, like for both of these. So please listen carefully. You guys are doing a great job focusing. Just keep that up, right? If you have a negative number on the top, you have to have one of each. And again, it doesn't matter which side you write these on. If the bottom number is positive, what that means is the positive one was the bigger one and the negative one was the smaller one. Because if you take a positive number like the bigger one plus a negative number that's the smaller one, you're going to end up with a positive result. For example, give me two numbers.
24 and -3.
Okay, if you have 24 and -3, like if the 24 is bigger, do you get what I'm saying? Like that would be positive. Yeah, okay, so that you're getting to this one. If you have a negative number on the bottom, that means that the positive number is smaller and the negative number is bigger. Now, it's hard when they get all mixed up. You have to be really, really careful, okay? So let's try these ones. Now this will be everything that's left. If you have a negative number on the top, you're going to have one of each, all right? So I need numbers that multiply together to equal 63. You guys are, I'm not even going to show the calculator because you guys are going to do this. It's 9 times 7. I will for the next one. 9, are you with me? 9 times 7 is 63. Now to get them to add up to be -2, which one needs to be the negative? The bigger one, right? Like you have -9 plus 7. Let me show the calculator for the next one. You guys have just been kind of shouting them at me though, so I sort of didn't. All right, so let's look at the next one. I'm glad you guys are getting it, but let's focus. So we're going to do -45 over x. Actually, I'm just going to put 45 over x, and then we'll decide which one gets the negative. So we want these to add or subtract to be 4. These are all decimals. There we go. Oh, it kept the negative in there. But 5 and 9 would be your numbers. And if you want it to be a +4, what symbols would you have to have? The 5 would be negative. -5 plus 9 will give you 4. Like the bigger one is the positive one. If you have a negative number on the top, you have to have one of each. All right, so for -14, and I guess I will keep the negative in there. It's just this might put the negative with the wrong one. So that's why I kind of hesitate to put a negative in there. You might just want to put 14. All right, so you want numbers that multiply to be -14, but add to be -5. I actually see it on the table already. Do you guys see it? Which would it be? Yeah, it's going to be 2 and -7. And again, if you wrote the -7 on this side and the 2 on that side, that's totally fine. All right, so for 72, and let me show you what I mean. Like, I would maybe suggest putting it in here just with a positive 72. You can always decide where the negatives go later. You want these to add or subtract to be what? What is it? 1, but specifically a -1. No, that's a decimal. 6 and 12 won't work. Do you see one that works yet? 8 and 9. It got real quiet in here. Are you all still with me?
Yeah.
Okay. The problems got harder, so no one's. Yeah, 8 and 9. Oh, why is it the 9 that gets the negative? It's the bigger number. We want a negative down here. All right, how about 21? We need numbers that multiply together to equal 21. Good, 7 times 3. And then which one will get the negative? Yep, the 7 will get the negative. If some of these numbers are small enough, I'm not going to yank out the calculator because that's just annoying to switch screen. All right, you need numbers that multiply to be -12. Oh, I missed this one. This is or no, this is fine. I'm sorry. My brain did something funny. We need one of each, one positive and one negative. We need them to multiply to be -12, but add up to be 4. So what are some numbers that'll multiply to be 12? Let's just think of that. 6 and 2, good. -2, good. Because 6 plus -2 would give you 4. Now you need numbers that multiply to be 5, specifically -5. So we'll have one positive and one negative. But you need them to add up to be -4. So it will be 1 times 5. But which one gets the negative? Good, the 5. Why? Yeah, you want 1 plus -5 to give you -4. All right, here, maybe I'll do the calculator for this one. What do you think for 36? Or do you have it already? That's such good number sense. This is gonna go well. You're like saying it before I can. Yep, there we go. 9 and 4. And then which one? Oh, wait, 9 and 4 won't add up to be 9 though. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Hold on, let me bring the calculator back up. Yeah, 9 plus 4 is not gonna be 9. Did we get to it? There, 12 and 3. Do you see that one? I just trusted you guys and it didn't work. All right, which one gets the negative?
3.
The 3. -3 plus 12 will give you +9. All right, how about -12? You need numbers that multiply to be -12. But then, well, now 6 times 2 will not work because 6 plus 2 won't be 11.
Oh.
12 and 1, good. Which one gets the negative?
12.
Oh, wait.
12.
Yep, -12, good. All right, how about this one? 24, we need numbers that multiply to be -24. So let's see, what would we have? 8 times 3, 8 plus 3 is not 10. Ooh, that's really tricky.
7 and 3.
It kind of, 7 times 3 isn't 21. It kind of feels like 6 and 4 would, here, let me show you why it won't though. And this is really tricky. One or the other has to be negative, right? If you make the negative on the 6, if you add these, you would get -2. If you put the negative here, if you add them, you would get +2. So that's not going to work. I think Corey said it back there though. What is it going to be? Oh, okay, thank you for giving credit where it belongs. 12 times 2 would be 24. Which one gets the negative? -2, good. That was tricky. Because it sort of seemed like it would be 6 and 4, but it didn't work out with the negatives. All right, how about 20? You want numbers that multiply to be -20. But then the sum needs to be -1. I think I heard somebody say it back there, 4 and 5. 4 times 5 is 20, but which one gets the negative? The 5, good. Here, I'll put this one in the calculator. I haven't been putting them in the calculator because by the time I open this, you guys are shouting the answer at me. All right, 35 over X, make the table. What do we want them to be? So, see, you guys are saying it before I can even get there. 7 and 5. And which one gets the negative? You want it to be a positive 2, -5, good, because 7 and -5 will give you negative, or will give you positive 2, excuse me. And then 55, you want numbers that multiply to be 55. Yeah, it would be 11 and 5, and you want there to be a -6, so which one gets, yeah, negative on the 11.